Hi, my name is Russ, and this is my Niv-Mizzet the Firemind deck. Okay, so this is my Niv-Mizzet the Firemind deck. Niv-Mizzet was one of my favorite cards when he was standard legal. I had a red, blue, green deck kind of combo which that I was quite fond of. When I first was going to build the deck, I was leaning towards like a counter burn kind of strategy, but it just kind of didn't come together. So I went with more cards that are synergistic with Niv, with kind of a thievery sub theme of just stealing your stuff basically, because that's always fun too. So your non-basics, there's a high number of them, mostly because it's just a two-color deck, and so there's not quite as many duels, and I'm not rich. So the first non-basic is Minamo, for pretty apparent reasons. Once Niv hits, you know, it's kind of nice to be able to bounce them back to your hand to be able to replay them for 6 as opposed to having to pay 8, 10, etc., etc. Mikokoro, for obvious reasons, being able to draw a card with Niv on the board is always beneficial, not to mention just being able to draw cards. Academy Ruins, there are a fair number of artifacts in the deck, so it's kind of nice to be able to recur those, especially the mass removal ones. Riptide Laboratory, basically for the same reason as Minamo. It's nice to be able to bounce Niv when necessary. Reliquary Tower, because the deck is focused around drawing cards, there are some games where you end up just drawing massive amounts of cards, and it's kind of nice not to have to discard any of them. Spinerock, it's very easy to do 7 or more damage with Niv in one turn, and so being able to play stuff for free is kind of nice. Cephalid Coliseum, obviously for drawing cards while Niv is on the board, is nice. And one of the cycling lands here, obviously, late, you don't need that land, but Niv's on the board, so it's kind of nice to get another Niv action. Vesuva, in case you just need to copy anything. Legendary land giving you trouble, you need a spot, whatever, it's kind of nice to have. Another cycling land for the same reason. Boilerworks, because it matches our colors. Tech Edge to blow up annoying lands. Maze to as some kind of a defense that's really kind of hard to stop. And my Maze of Ith was in another deck, I think, when I built it, so this really could be a Maze of Ith. Temple of the False God, ramp up a little bit. These are our colors. Fetch for our colors. More colors. Fetch. And we'll get to the artifact ramp. Soul Ring for obvious reasons. Coalition Relic. Signet. Ingot. Sky Diamond. Fire Diamond. Which I really like the old Mirage ones. They look nice. Mind Stone. Artifact mana plus card draw. Seems nice. So we get to the counter spells. I find more and more that my EDH decks tend to be kind of combo-y, and so I needed an answer to bombs, just like some of my other decks. So there is a counterspell package. So Cryptic, because it's one of the best counterspells ever. Counterspell, because it is the counter. Remand lets you draw a card, which is always nice. And double negative for just spell wars. Dream Fracture for the same reason. You draw a card and you get to counterspell. Arcane Denial, you get to draw a card. Then one of the sub-themes, and it's not very prevalent in the deck, but there's a bit of redirection spells. Kind of fits into the whole stealing, trickery, mess with your head kind of thing. So Rebound, Swerve, Misdirection, and Redirect, and Divert. Again, just kind of a minor sub-theme there. This kind of gets into some of the mass removal, even though Evacuation is not really removal. In a pinch, it can be just as good as. It can also be used to save Niv if necessary. Oblivion Stone, mass removal, works good with Academy Ruins. Same thing with Nev's Disc. Starstorm, is mass removal that can be cycled to draw a card in a pinch also to help Niv out. So now this will start the section of cards that kind of deals with the thievery aspect of stealing. Mimic Vat is just bonkers in EDH. There's so many big fatties that are dying all over the place. Mimic Vat can get pretty out of control sometimes. Commandeer, free thievery spell is always nice. Acquire, there's always somebody at the table who's going to have some kind of nice artifact shenanigans to steal. Bribery, to just go snatch whatever fatness you want right off the bat. Helm of Obedience. I like this card. This card is fun because you just never really know exactly what it is you're going to get. Gather Specimens. This is almost kind of like a counterspell thievery shenanigans. That's always fun. Desertion fits in the same vein. Shackles. This ends up being more of a defensive thing than anything most of the time. Treachery. Control Magic. Against creatureless decks, this is like a one-card kill. Like my Xur deck, for instance, has 0 creatures. This resolves, it's game over. Blatant Thievery. And now we get into the card draw. This is the cheaper instant speed section of the card draw spells to help keep Niv-Mizzet chains going to continue to do damage and draw more cards and whatnot. So Tolarian Winds. Brainstorm, it's like a lightning bolt in this deck. Careful Consideration. Rhystic Study, I put this in with the card draw because more often than not it will draw you cards than people are usually willing to pay 1. Although if Niv is on the board, people tend to pay 1 a little more often. Think Twice, recursive card draw. Words of Wisdom, most people are pretty happy to see this one because they also get to draw the cards, but it's instant speed card draw in this deck, so that works. Same thing with Vision Skins. Everybody gets to draw, nobody's unhappy, but it's instant speed. So then here's the section of card draw that is more what I would call like mass card draw, because you're just going to draw a ton of cards for a relatively cheap price. So you got Wheel of Fortune, Time Spiral, Time Reversal, Wheel of Fate. Teferi's Puzzle Box, I put this kind of in that same category. You got 6 cards in your hand. I mean, you're drawing 7 cards that turn with Niv-Mizzet on the board. That's a lot of damage. Eternal Dominion, my pet card. This is my alternate win card of choice, and it fits into the thievery kind of sub-theme as well, just being able to steal other people's stuff. So here's the creatures. Gilded Drake fits right into the steal things sub-theme. Pretty cheap way to steal, you know, Terastodon or any other silly thing that's sitting around on the board. Flectomancer. I actually get a lot of grief for this card, but it fits the redirection theme, and slapping one of these under a Mimic Vat is pretty silly. People kind of forget it's there under the Mimic Vat and what exactly it is that it does. And it was in color. Duplicant is kind of a, you know, EDH staple, if you will, kind of an answer to creatures. Void Mage Husher. I like this. Could flash, counter an activated ability. This is like a, you know, because you can bounce it. It's a reusable stifle, and fits kind of well into what you want to do in this deck. Dominus Fealty, again, it's on color and fits the thievery mechanic, and he's pretty wide body flying, so it's kind of nice. Plus, I like the artwork. Teferi, for obvious reasons, if we're going to mess with our opponents and prevent them, redirect them, steal them, Teferi seems like the kind of guy to have in the deck. And here's the combo piece, I guess, if you will. Standard Niv-Mizzet fare. Curiosity obviously lets Niv-Mizzet do just as much damage as you have left in your deck, really. Nikote, this is another Niv-Mizzet enhancer. Pretty ridiculous. This is a card that most people, when they see it, they have to pick it up and read it, and then when I go to use it, they have to pick it up and read it again, and then there's usually derogatory remarks and disenchants of some manner. Fiddy and I fits the same bill as Curiosity, except that you can play it at instant speed, costs a little more. Same concept. Basilisk Collars, kind of like another Nicote kind of action. Cheap and fits the bill. Can gain you a lot of life and can clear all the creatures off the board really quick with Niv. Feldon's Cane is kind of an odd one, but if you're stuck with 2 or 3 opponents left and you get the Niv-Mizzet combo going, you don't want to run out of deck. So you want to be able to kill one opponent, severely damage another, recur your whole graveyard back into the deck, and then with all the instant card draw you should have in your hand, start the process all over again. So that's kind of keep the combo going if it happens. Sensei's Top, obvious reasons, it's a EDH staple. And card draw in a pinch if you need it. Ori, obviously another EDH staple, lets you wait to cast all of your steely enchantment stuff till end of turn, so you can see all the fatness that might hit the table prior to having to commit your resources. Wipe Away, just a utility card, bounce away, since I do run a counter package. In some cases, you know, if you have a counter in hand, this might as well be an uncounterable counter spell somewhat. Crystal Shard again, it's a utility card, and again this fits the same theme of being able to bounce Niv in a pinch, so you don't have to continually pay 8, 10, 12, and so on for Niv. Thanks for watching CMDR Decks. Please subscribe and favorite.